Welcome to Your Success Podcast. We give you actionable insight and stories behind real-life success wherever you go. Here are your hosts, Angelos and Mo.
Welcome to Your Success Podcast. I'm Angelos.
And I'm Mo.
Today we are privileged to be joined by Simon Coulson. Simon is a multi-millionaire internet marketing master. He has created 5 7-figure online businesses, and they produce over £20 million worth of sales, and the first 2 million were from the spare room in his house. Simon is also a public speaker and has shared the stage with Tony Robbins, Bill Clinton and Lord Sugar. He is also the lead singer in the band Coldplay, which is the UK's #1 Coldplay tribute band. Simon is also an established songwriter and the co-founder of the Songwriting Academy.
So Simon, thank you for joining us today.
No problem.
That is an extremely impressive life CV. Can you tell us how it all started for you and tell us a little bit about how the Internet Business School came about?
Sure. So wind the clock back to 2003, I feel old. And I used to work for BT, so I've worked there for 14 years, working in customer services. And I basically had a job which I wasn't really enjoying. I was commuting 4 hours a day to get into London. And really has kind of hacked off with it. And one day what happened was I actually was on the escalator at King's Cross Station. I blacked out, and I remember getting on the escalator, and then I remember waking up on the floor and there were people stepping over me. And I remember it felt like hundreds of people stepped over me, and eventually somebody stopped and bent down and said, "Are you all right, mate?" I remember going, "No." And they called me an ambulance, and the ambulance came and checked me out. And they put heart monitors on me and see if I had a heart attack or a stroke, and they concluded there was nothing wrong with me other than I was just exhausted, just fainted. That's all that was wrong with me. So they said, go see your GP the next day, get signed off for a week and just relax, just take a week off. It was just been overdoing it. And that was a bit of a kind of wake-up call for me, because I kind of thought, Jesus, I'm sort of wearing myself out here. I'm only 32. And, retirement age is 65, I actually go up to 67 now, but even at that point, if I'm worn out after 14 years and I've got, another 33 to go, do I really want to be doing this? And in the background to this, I had a little hobby, and the hobby was playing in a very average pub covers band. And we'd been to a gig down in Brighton to see Coldplay perform. And this is 2002, 2003, start 2003. And driving back from the gig, we just had this idea, me and one of the guys in the band, that we would change our bands to be a Coldplay tribute band rather than just being a pub covers band. And the reasoning was that as a pub covers band, we never actually earned more than £100 a gig. And by the time we split that 4 ways, it's 25 quid each, subtract the bar bill, it was negative equity. It was just fun. But we'd seen these tribute bands that did ABBA tributes and Queen tributes come to our local theatre, and they'd sold out 800 or 1,000 seats at 20 quid a seat, and we're like, there's money in this tribute band thing. And in our set that we did as a pub band, we did 2 songs by Coldplay, so we knew we could perform a Coldplay song or 2. So it was just a kind of madcap idea, but we just thought these tribute bands seemed quite popular. We had a look, no one had started a tribute band to Coldplay, so we figured, let's give it a go. So first lesson in business really, because it was rebranding. Because all we did was we changed the name of the band, and we basically changed their repertoire to just be Coldplay songs. At the time, Coldplay only had 2 albums out, so we learned all 20 Coldplay songs. And we put ourselves out there as the UK's #1 Coldplay tribute. When in actual fact, we were the only Coldplay tribute, so that made us the #1. So we started putting ourselves out there, and we recorded a little demo CD around at my house, and we sent it off to a few agents, and we started getting bookings. And amazingly, we found that we could get £2,000 a gig. And we started getting 2 bookings a week at £2,000 a booking. So suddenly, there's 4 of us in the band, so each band member's getting £500 a gig, 2 a week. That's £1,000 a week. This is more than BT were paying me for my day job. And this happened around the same time as a blackout on the tube. I suddenly thought, hold on a minute, what the hell am I doing with my life? I've got this other little hobby career, which I love doing. 2 evenings a week, I can make £1,000 a week. I commute 4 hours a day for BT. I spend 8 hours a day on the phone being complained at. I earn a fraction of that. I'm doing something wrong here. So it was a big kind of turning point for me, and then as luck would have it, around this same time as well, BT announced a redundancy scheme. So we're looking for volunteers to go. And I'm like, this is like all my Christmases come at once, because I was thinking about getting out of this BT thing, and now they're saying, if I go, they'll give me a pile of redundancy money. So I filled out the form, and they very quickly accepted my offer to volunteer for redundancy. When I look back with hindsight, I think there's a couple of reasons why that might have happened. Because one of the things that I was responsible for was testing some new systems that were going to be going into some call centres. And I was tasked with writing the help screen. So if somebody didn't know what to press on one of the screens, they'd press the F1 key and give them some advice. And for some of the screens, I didn't know myself what was supposed to go in this particular field or this particular form. So just as a little holding thing, I'd written this joke little help screen that came up that said, look, don't ask me, I haven't got a clue either. And it was just a little bit of fun, and I'd meant to delete those and update them before the thing went live, but I forgot. And this whole system went live on day one, and all these people in all these call centres around the country are pressing F1 for a bit of advice, and they get this thing that says, look, don't ask me, I haven't got a clue either. So there were a few little instances like that I think I hadn't endeared myself to management. So I think when they heard that Coulson was volunteering to go, they're like, yes, accept him, he can definitely go. So I left BT originally to do the music, to do the corporate shipping, and that was keeping me busy. But I didn't know that was going to last. The music industry is very fickle. We all see bands, X Factor winners that are a superstar, touring stadiums one year, and the next year they're history. So I thought I needed a plan B. So I started looking around, and I saw this entrepreneurial seminar that was going on. And this was someone promising to make you rich from information products. And I was a bit cynical, but the workshop came with a guarantee, and the guarantee was that if by lunchtime you were convinced you could become a millionaire, you could leave for a full refund. So I thought, well, I'm just going to go along and have a look. So I went along to the seminar, and I went in there with the mindset of, I've just come for the morning and then I'm leaving and to have the full refund. I don't really think this works, but I'm a bit bored, because Coldplay only having 2 albums out meant there was only 20 songs to learn, and we'd learned all 20 songs. So I had nothing to do Monday to Friday. The gigs were all Friday and Saturday nights. So that was my mindset when I walked in the room. But by lunchtime, I was like really excited by this prospect, because this guy was talking about selling sets of DVDs and CDs, and he was basically buying a license to someone else's trading product, and he would be licensing a product for £5,000 to £10,000, but they'd be selling a set of DVDs, and it might be, say, 10 discs, and he would sell that for £995, but the cost of manufacture is a tenner. So there's like a 99% profit margin in these products. I'm like, this is an amazing business. What business has a 99% profit margin? So I was kind of excited, and the thing that made me stay, which is very smart, just before lunch, he passed around the room that week's HSBC bank statement, and it showed that he had over £1 million in cash in his bank statement. And that blew me away, because when I was a kid, my dad was an accountant, and I'd worked for him a little bit in the school holidays, and I'd seen thousands of bank statements, and I've never seen one with more than about 50,000 quid in for all these different businesses. So it blew me away to think there's any kind of business where you could literally have £1 million sat around in cash. So I was convinced, so I stayed for the day, and then I went away from that workshop and I set up my first information product business. And I was trying to think of what to do, and this guy was teaching a model where you license someone else's product, but rather than license someone else's product, because that was a cost, that was £5,000 to £10,000, what I thought I'd do is create my own, because I had lots of spare time. So I thought I'd create some sort of training product on something. And the thing I ended up on was investing in property in Bulgaria. And the reason I ended up there was because with my redundancy money, that's what I'd done with it. Because I had about £5,000 spare, and about any place in the world you could buy a house was Bulgaria for £5,000. And it sounds a little bit crazy, but at the time all the experts were saying Bulgaria was a great place to invest because it was just about to join the European Union. And as soon as it did, property prices would quadruple overnight. And I'd done lots of research on this. Before I bought the house, I'd spent hours researching stuff online, and I'd convinced myself it did seem to be a good proposition. So I wrote a book called, I joke about this, it wasn't even called The Bulgaria Property Guide. When I look back, it was just called Bulgaria Property Guide. I didn't even know the word "the" in the front of the title. I don't know why, really, but anyway. So I created Bulgaria Property Guide, made a simple little webpage for it, and learned that if you want to get your website to come out on Google, you had to learn about this thing called search engine optimization. So I started reading stuff online about that and trying out different things, and was amazed that somehow I figured out how to get my website for Bulgaria Property Guide on the first page of Google. If anybody searched for phrases like Bulgaria property or Bulgaria investment or buying in Bulgaria and those sort of phrases. And what happened was about 20 people a day started buying this ebook about buying property in Bulgaria at £20 a copy. So it's like £400 a day every day started dropping into my PayPal account. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Because the work to write the book took about 2 weeks. So I'd done 2 weeks solid research work, written this thing, but then every day 400 quid lands in my bank account without doing any more work. So I thought, wow, this is great, I'm going to do another one. So I then did the Croatia Property Guide. Actually, not the Croatia Property Guide, just Croatia Property Guide. So that was my next one. And that one didn't sell quite as well as Bulgaria. I did about 10 copies a day. And I just kept going. I thought, my God, I'm onto something here. So I started writing more and more property investment guides, and all of the stuff in these guides was stuff that was available for free on the internet. Because the first one, I had bought a house in Bulgaria, but I'd never actually visited Bulgaria. And the other ones, I've not even visited the countries. But the point is, what people were buying was time saving. Because all the information was out there for free, but it took about 70 or 80 hours of research to get the information. And what I was doing was saving people that 80 hours of research and saying, if you give us 20 quid, I'll give you all the information on a plate. And that means that if they valued their time at more than 25p an hour, it was a better investment just to buy my guide. So I kept going with these property investment guides. After I'd done the first few, I realised that I could only personally write 2 a month because they're taking me 2 weeks to research. So I looked into getting some freelance writers to help me and found the market price for a freelance author was only about $1,000 for 2 weeks. So I started hiring researchers and writers to write these guides for me. And I ended up doing about 34 property investment guides on countries that I've never even visited on holiday, let alone bought a blooming house in. And that was how I got started with the internet. So very quickly, within a few months, I've got a business making me thousands of pounds a day selling these information guides. Then I expanded from that to do some other how-to guides on some different subjects. I had a friend that was running a cleaning business, so we did a guide on how to set up and run a cleaning business. Did guides on how to do plumbing and plastering and growing bonsai trees and yoga and all sorts of weird and wacky stuff. And the principle, which is really simple, is find a subject that people want to know about, make a website for it, write a guide on it or research it or pay someone to write something on it. And then the important bit is get that on the first page of Google. If you get that on the first page of Google, anybody looking for information on that stuff is going to find your thing. If it's a well-presented thing, at the right sort of price, there's a good chance they're going to buy it. So that's how I made the first few million, literally selling how-to information products from the spare room in my house. And all this time, the Coldplay tributes carrying on. You know, we're doing this on Friday and Saturday nights, but Monday to Friday, I'm researching ebooks and how-to guides, writing them, getting them written, and sending out lots of products because I started offering them on physical formats as well. So we started offering things on CDs and DVD as well as download. So this went pretty well, and after about 3 months I got enough money to buy myself a new Porsche, which was very exciting, so I always wanted a Porsche and kind of amazing. Unfortunately I bought a bright yellow Porsche, which meant all of my friends wanted to disown me because they told me it was a hairdresser's car, but I thought it was lovely. But around this time as well, a good friend of mine, Rick, who was the drummer in the band, actually asked me what was I doing to make all this money online. I said to him, well, it's fairly simple. So you just need 3 things. You need something to sell, you need a website, and you need traffic. And I've figured out, you know, the sort of things that sell well, how to make simple websites and how to get traffic. So he said, do you think you could show me? So I said, yeah, cool. So we came around for an afternoon and we spent an afternoon together. And I just showed him what I'd done and basically how we could do the same. We spoke about what the product might be. And at this point, Rick was a fire officer in Kent Fire and Rescue Services. So the obvious product would be a guide on how to become a fire officer or a firefighter. So he set about doing his first ever ebook, How to Become a Firefighter, made a simple web page, got that to rank on Google, just using the same kind of strategies that I was using, and started making money from that. And he said, what do I do now? I said, keep going. just do more, like I did with the property thing. So he then did over 100 career guides on different careers. So he started off with firefighter, then did police officer and paramedic, because he knows lots of those. But then he's done airline pilot, train driver, doctor, nurse, taxi driver, has built an entire business, and that business has now done over £6 million selling career guides. And Rick has retired from the business. He retired from the fire service to run the business, and then within a couple of years he's retired from the business to live a life of leisure because it doesn't need him. Runs an autopilot. He's got a couple of young guys and girls that are researchers that update the guides, write new ones, they deal with all the fulfillment of all the products that are sold. And it's probably the number one career training guide brand in the country now. They're in schools, colleges, prisons, WH Smiths, all over the place you'll find the How to Become Career Guide range. And off the back of that, that's kind of how Internet Business School started, because I thought, well, if I've taught Rick how to do it, I could probably teach other people. And then other people started asking me, because they heard of my success and Rick's success, how do you make money with this internet thing? So I started showing a few more friends, and they started making money. And I realised there was another whole business here, because what I'd spent several years figuring out to do was a really valuable skill, and lots of people would like to benefit from this knowledge. So Internet Business School was created. So Face Over the Internet Business School was actually created courtesy of EasyJet and one of their sick bags, because I was actually flying back from a holiday in Spain and I was just bored on the plane thinking about, maybe I could teach this stuff. So just get a little mind map of all the things that I know about since I started. So I put internet business in the middle, and then I was doing this little mind map. I was there like, email, autoresponders, opt-ins, and then social media and search engine optimization and link building and all these things. And I ended up with this spider diagram. It was huge, and I thought, wow, that's a lot of stuff I've learned. It's a lot of stuff I could teach. So that was the basis for the first course of Internet Business School was designed on an EasyJet sick bag on a plane back from Malaga. So you heard it here first. I've never told that story before. So that's how Internet Business School started. How I got started really with all these info products. So left the corporate life to be a musician, but accidentally ended up doing something different.
And you've had many great success stories from the Internet Business School, haven't you? Could you give us a couple?
Sure, yeah. So we've had loads and loads of great examples. We've had a recent one. There was a lady who was working in the police service, and she left the police service, wanted to move into the beauty industry. And so she came on the course with us. We taught her to do research and find out where the untapped niches might be in the beauty industry. Turned out that eyelash extensions looked like it would be a good little niche to get into. So she went and learned how to do eyelash extensions, and then set up a business teaching how to do eyelash extensions. And she created a business called the Institute of Eyelash Excellence, and got a website to the top of Google for phrases like eyelash extension training. So she very quickly became the number one provider of eyelash extension education in the UK, having no prior experience, having just done a course on it herself, learning about it, and then becoming a teacher of it. And it just shows the power of the internet, really. It's like if you can position yourself at the top of Google, you become the de facto the person to go to in an industry. And of course, not to belittle her, she's very good at what she does, and she's learned how to do it. She's learned from some of the best people, but it gives you that massive leg up. And she became a millionaire within 3 years from starting this business. Got to buy an Aston Martin for her boyfriend for his birthday, and now lives in a nice host house, when before she was living in a home with mum. At 32, she was living at home with mum. So it's amazing the sort of turnaround that you can get. We've got another guy who came on the course, a guy called Phil. He had no internet business when he came on the course, and within a couple of years he's now got a business that does $6 million a year selling building materials online. His website's buildingmaterials.co.uk. He's one of the leading providers of building materials online. Another guy called Paul came on the course. He actually had a business that failed and was starting again from scratch. And within 2 years, he's grown to $2 million a year in a brand new business doing conservatory roofs. So there's all sorts of people in all sorts of different industries building big businesses. And if you just learn this new skill set of internet marketing, it doesn't matter what business you want to be in, you can launch a business and you can quickly ascend to the top of it if you just learn how to do internet marketing.
Yeah, I've been on the course. It's 3 days, and you can be on the Darling Buds of May farm, which is where we are at the moment, which you incidentally own. So maybe slightly older listeners may remember the Darling Buds of May with Pop Larkin and David Jason, all those amazing, Catherine Zeta-Jones, amazing guys I remember watching when I was younger. And to actually be here recording this interview with you is a real great privilege for me. But me and my wife Thea Sanders, we went to your course, and out of the back of it I was very much aware of what I needed to do to help increase the awareness of my events business. And she created her own social media management company, and that's allowed her to be self-employed. And we did that course just under a year now, so she's done very, very well with that. So again, that's attributable to yourselves.
Yeah, that's right. We've heard lots of people, and particularly this whole skill of becoming an internet marketing consultant is a great new vocation. It's a job that didn't exist 20 years ago. In the old days, businesses just used to have to advertise on Yellow Pages or the local newspaper, and that was it. That would be all the marketing they needed. But now, every business needs to learn about search engine optimization and social media, and Snapchat, Pinterest, and Instagram, and Facebook retargeting. And there's this whole skill set that every business owner needs, but they didn't learn it when they were at school because it didn't exist. So there's a big opportunity for people to provide that as a done-for-you service, or to teach business owners what to do. And we have a lot of people coming through our courses that basically just do a career change and move into online marketing consultancy, because there are clients out there that pay you £500, £1,000 a month each to look after their internet marketing for them. And if you can pick up 10, 20 clients, you can quickly start earning good money. You know, our best person, his background was a car mechanic, and he made £11,000 in his first 30 days straight after a course in a whole new career. I've had many people start earning 100 to 200,000 a year in their first year in a whole new career for them. So, and one of our best examples is a guy called Nick, who now runs a digital marketing agency with about 20 staff, and is in one of the fast-growing 500 companies in the UK, multi-million-pound business in internet marketing consultancy. So there's lots of success stories in that particular angle.
Can you just very quickly summarise what people will learn on the 3-day course with yourself, Simon?
Sure, yeah. So the 3-day program is based around three kind of main things. The first thing is something to sell. So on the first day of the course, we teach people about the kind of things that you can sell online. So that covers information products, physical products, online services. Then we talk about somewhere to sell from. So we show people how to make websites, and we teach them how to build a website. So when they come on the course, we'll learn how to build a website while they're here, so they'll never need to pay to have the website made ever again. And then the third part of the course is someone to sell to. It's all about the traffic. So we teach people loads of different ways to get mountains of traffic to the website. Because we find a lot of people come on the course have often got a great product or service, and sometimes a great product or service and a website, but they're not a success yet because they haven't figured out the traffic bit, and the traffic is just so key to it all. So the 3-day course is based around those three areas. Within the something to sell, we also cover a market research methodology. So we teach people how to find good ideas. If they come on a course and haven't got an idea of what they want to do to make money, we teach them how to take any subject and research it and find out where is the money in that industry based on market trends, market demands, competition, and propensity to spend money. So that's the kind of high-level view of the course. Really, it's all about what you're going to sell to make money, how you're going to make websites, and what the essential things a website needs, and where you're going to get traffic from.
And the name of the course?
It's our Internet Marketing Diploma program. So it's actually an accredited diploma. So you get a level 3 diploma in digital marketing. It's accredited by NCFE. They're regulated by Ofsted. And it's kind of one of our USPs in this training space is that we got our training course accredited, because there are lots of people out there doing some sort of internet course. And I've attended lots of them, and some of them are just one-trick ponies that are just teaching one strategy. Often the stuff's very out of date, and it might be stuff that worked a couple of years ago but doesn't work anymore because it's so fast moving. So we decided to set ourselves apart. We'd go down the accreditation route and create a real qualification bearing course that's literally updated every month.
Yeah. And if listeners at home want to find out more information about yourself and the course, they can just go to yoursuccesspodcast.com/Simon.
That's right. Find out all about me there.
Brilliant. All right, Simon, thank you very much for your time today. It's been a real pleasure hearing about your story. Like we said, if people are interested in learning more about the Internet Business School, they can find more information at www.yoursuccesspodcast.com/Simon.
So we want to know your thoughts on Simon's amazing journey. Really interesting story there. Send us an email at hello@yoursuccesspodcast.com or get in touch on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And as we said, if you're interested in learning more, go to yoursuccesspodcast.com/Simon.
So thanks again, Simon, and thank you for those of you at home listening to Your Success Podcast. Please click subscribe, leave us a review, and we look forward to your comments on our Facebook page and YouTube channels. And don't forget to sign up to hear more about Your Success book launch coming in September. More information is on our website. So I've been Angelos.
And I've been Mo.
And see you again on the next exciting episode of Your Success Podcast.
You have been listening to Your Success Podcast. Click subscribe for more incredible content. More details can be found at www.yoursuccesspodcast.com.